and code. Open this up. Put it on the right side. Left, technically. That's just what did we do in the last video? Oh, right, relationships. Add relationships. Okay, welcome back, guys. In this video, we're gonna go over these two bullet points: adding upvotes, downvotes, and bookmarks. Now, these are actually just what's the word? They're junction tables. They're still relationships between the ideas and the user, but they're one-sided relationships. So we actually don't want the second part here, where we specify the inverse relationship. So to do that, we're going to use a decorator called many-to-many. One second while I find the thing. All right, so this is the user entity. We're going to use the many-to-many decorator, and we're also going to use the join table decorator. Join table, and this is just going to be called bookmarks. Bookmarks. I believe that's right. Idea entity array. Let's see. So the many-to-many is going to be a type idea entity, and we're going to pass in the options of cascade true. The join table is going to be empty, and let's see, projects. The user has bookmarks, but the upvotes and downvotes is actually going to live inside of ideas, so this is all we need to do in the user entity. I believe we have to edit the response object, so let's go do that. I'm gonna put it right here. Actually, put it down here. So if this dot bookmarks response object equals dot bookmarks equals to this dot bookmarks. Okay, I'm not going to test out the entity quite yet because I have data in the database while I was trying out some stuff. So we're going to complete our entities. So in the idea entity, we also need a many-to-many, which is also a join column, join table, I mean. Join table, and this is going to be for upvotes. And this is a user entity array, and we're going to do the same thing for downvotes. Join table, downvotes, user entity array, and we're going to pass in the same what is it, parameters, arguments, whatever. User entity cascade is equal to true. Type user entity, and cascade here is also equal to true. Now, because these are one-sided relationships, they're going to create a junction table, and easily you can see it in the Postgres database. So we just do a PSQL and we'll connect to the correct database. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm logged in the wrong user. So PSQL-U for user, and we're going to log in as Postgres. Now we're going to connect to ideas and do a DT, so display tables. So we have the idea and the user, which we already created. Then adding the join table, we have the user bookmarks, the idea upvotes and downvotes. And if we do a display user bookmarks, you'll see that it's a join table where it references both the user and the idea. Now, I'm not too versed in typeform, so I don't know exactly how to make it unique on both sides, because it's not really a many-to-many relationship. It's more of a many-to-one, I believe, or a one-to-many. However, I wanted it to be one-sided, so this is the best we've got, and we're gonna check for uniqueness on the server side instead of the database side. Otherwise, if there is a unique constraint that we could add to one of these options, I would definitely love to hear it, because this is what I've got so far. Okay, so if we now start the database, it should synchronize our data. And unable to response object. Oh, that is a problem with that. And that is because this DTO is not accounting for the bookmarks. Which will make it optional, which is an idea entity array. Let's see if that fixes it. And of course, the idea data transfer object has also changed, so we'll make the upvotes a user response object array. Downvotes is also a user response object array. And actually, I'm just gonna change it over here. So idea entity service. How do I change this? It's so. All right. So I'm gonna put this into a variable, and we're just gonna cast it as any for now. Return idea. And we'll just do a if idea dot. Oh, right, no. This has to be a response object so that it doesn't conflict with the idea parameter. Response objects and response object. So upvotes response object dot upvotes equals to idea dot upvotes dot length, and the same for downvotes. Downvotes dot length. There we go. Now we need to edit the response object to actually reflect these as numbers. Number. There. Okay. With that out of the way, our database should be up to date. So we just do a DT. Oh, right. We have to first connect to ideas and then display tables. And if we display the ideas, downvotes, and there it is. If we do a select, you will see the what's it called? The data that I've inserted in. Downvotes underscore user. Select star from. Select star from. What was it? From table? Ah, crap, I don't remember. I'll do that later, actually. So, in our here, let's actually add the routes to update these ideas so then you can see. Or actually, let's update the user route. So in here, let's add the bookmarks relationship, and try that out. So we go to /users, API /users. Oh, this is a post, right? Sorry. There we go. So it displays all of the ideas as well as the bookmark. Now if we go to ideas, right now it's only displaying author, but we can easily fix that with changing the relationship. So we just go into our create, read, show all, and I'll just do the upvotes and downvotes. Votes, downvotes, and do another show all. You can see that we have the upvotes and downvotes correctly displayed. Now all we need to do is create endpoints so that we could add into the database, which I will add underneath destroy. So let's go into our controller. Actually, yeah. And let's actually get rid of all these files. And open up our controller. So the first thing we want is a post to ID / bookmark. We also need the user, so we need the new auth guard. And this is going to be a bookmark idea. And then we also want a delete ID / bookmark. It's the same route as the post. So we're gonna do this pretty much the same thing. So new auth guard. And this is for the unbookmark. Alright. So I believe these both take in the same thing, so I'm just gonna multi-select. And first we want the param ID, which is the ID, which is gonna be a string, and we also want the user ID, which we'll call user ID. Oops. Which is gonna be a string. And of course we want to log out the data. And we're getting the ID as well as the user. Let's see if we just do this. Ah man, it's the wrong link. Okay. Okay. So far so good. Now we just need a service method to take care of both of these. So in our service, which will be over here. Okay, this is gonna be an async method. Bookmark we're going to take in the ID, which is a string, and the user ID, which is also a string. Okay, so let's first find the idea. Await this.idea repository.find1 where ID is equal to ID, and then find the user. Await this.user repository.find1 where ID is equal to user ID. Okay. Let's see. We also need the relationships. So user will want the bookmarks. So relations is bookmarks, and now we just need to check if the bookmark already exists. If user.bookmarks.filter bookmark.id is equal to idea.id.length is less than 1. So the filter method is going to return us an array which we can use length on, and it's going to give us everything that's has the same ID, and if it's less than 1, which means 0, this if statement is going to take effect. So we'll just do user.bookmarks.push idea, and we'll save. So this.user repository.save user. Else, we're just going to throw an error. Throw new exception. I'm just going to say idea already bookmarked, status of bad request, and of course return the user. And of course we have to turn it into a response object. And while we're still in the service, let's go ahead and make the unbookmark bookmark, which takes in the same parameters, user ID, and we're also going to return user.toResponse object, and the first part is also going to be the same. We're going to find the idea, await this dot idea repository dot find one where ID is equal to ID, const user equals to await this dot user repository dot find one where ID is user ID. Okay, so in the unbookmark, we're basically going to do the opposite of what we did in the bookmark. First, we also shouldn't forget to add the relationship here, bookmarks. And I'm just going to copy and paste this if statement. Boop. And so this time, instead of making sure that there is, or this idea doesn't already belong in the filter, we're gonna instead make sure that it does. And we're not gonna push the idea into the bookmarks. Instead, we're gonna get rid of the idea. So we're just gonna do a filter method here. Bookmarks.filter bookmark.id is not equal to idea.id. So this filter method is just gonna give back the bookmarks array without the same bookmark. So it just gets rid of it basically. And then of course we're returning the response object. Now all we need to do is hook it up. So just gotta put it in and return this dot what is it? Idea service dot bookmark ID user, and this one's on bookmark. Okay, so if we go ahead and test that out, let's see, the route is /bookmark. So let's go ahead and let's go with this one. Slash this. Do a post / bookmark. And depending on the data, I don't remember if this is already bookmarked or not. And it hasn't, so it's been bookmarked down here. And we do a delete, we'll get rid of it. There we go. Alright, cool. Now we just need to do a similar action with the upvotes. Upvotes and downvotes. Let's go ahead and make the routes first. It's gonna be over here really quick. Okay, so this is also gonna be a post to ID /upvote, and we're gonna need the guard again to gain access to the user object. Auth guard, and this one is gonna be called upvote idea. And then this is the opposite, so ID /downvote. Use guards, new, auth guard, downvote idea. Alright, so let's go ahead and add the stuff. Param, ID string, user, ID user, string, this dot log data, ID user, save, cool. And for this, I'm actually gonna create something that's a little bit more reusable than what we did with the bookmarks. So I'm gonna do, where am I? Source shared votes.enum.ts. I'm actually gonna kill the server. Okay. So, let's see. Where did I put that? Alright, so, whoops. Export enum votes. And we just do up equals to upvotes. Yeah, it's a comma. And down equals to downvotes. And this is just an external type that we're going to be able to use in our service. And where I'm actually going to create a private method up here. Okay, here. Private votes. And this is going to be an async method because we're going to return a promise. And we're going to take in the idea entity, and the user entity, and also the vote, which is going to be of type votes that we just created. And I want the upvoting and downvoting to behave the same way as it does on Reddit. So if you upvote something that you've already downvoted, it's just going to remove the downvote. But then if you upvote on something that you've already upvoted on, it'll just remove the upvote. So the vote only happens when you, what's the word? When you haven't voted on it. Otherwise, it just removes the vote. So first, we're going to want the opposite. So we could keep track of the downvote if we put in upvote. Yeah, the wording it might get a little confusing. So let's just do this. Votes dot up. So if we're passing in an upvote, the opposite is going to be votes dot down. Otherwise, it's going to be votes dot up. All right, and then we're going to want to return the idea after all of this is done. Now we just need to create an if-else block that will take care of all the possible combinations. So if it's going to be a big if, so I'm going to open it. Idea opposite dot filter voter.id is equal to user ID dot length is greater than 0, or idea vote dot filter voter.id is, what is this, user.id dot length is also greater than 0. So this will take care of the case in which you have already voted on the idea. And we're just gonna, inside the if block, we're gonna remove everything. So opposite equals to idea opposite dot filter voter.id is not equal to user.id. And same for the vote. So idea votes filter voter d is user.id. And then we just want to save the idea. This dot idea repository dot save idea. And then now in the next else if statement, we're going to take care of the case where what's this called? Where you haven't voted yet. So voter.id triple equals to user.id dot length is less than 1. Idea dot votes equals to idea votes dot push user. Oh no, there's no equals. There's no equality here. It's just push. And then await this dot idea repository dot save idea. And then finally, if there's a case that is not accounted for, we're just gonna throw an error. Throw new exception unable to cast vote. P status dot bad request. Save. And now we just need to create the last two methods in here. I'm gonna put it above the bookmarks. And this is gonna be called, what did I call this? Async upvotes, where we take in the idea of string as well as the user ID. User ID. And also async downvote with the same parameters. User ID. And first, we just need to find the idea. Wait, this dot idea repository dot find one, where ID, and in this case we want the relations of author ID, not ID, I'm sorry, upvotes and downvotes. And we also need the user. Wait, this dot user repository dot find one, where ID is user. And I don't think we need the relations in this case, so we're just gonna pass the idea into the method that we just created. So this dot vote idea user, and then lastly the type of vote, which should be votes dot up and return user. Copy and paste because it's gonna be the same logic, except we just changed this to down. And let's get rid of this left one. Oh no, that's not what I wanted. This left one. Okay, never mind. The inactive one for some reason. And if we just do a yarn start dev, we can go ahead and test out these two, which I don't think we called in our controller. We did not. Yeah, let's go do that. Return this dot not user idea service dot not update vote ID user, and change this to downvote. And here we go. So the route is /ID /downvote. So first let's check if this is the correct thing. /downvote post. That is strange. Upvote. We are returning the wrong thing. It's return user. Oh, idea. Let's try that again. Upvotes, downvotes. Okay. Now we just need to pass this through the toResponseObject method. toResponseObject idea. Send. So upvote again. It goes to 1. Upvote again. Goes back to 0. Now if we change this to downvote, you could see the traversal of the upvote. So downvote is at 1. Now it's at 0. And now upvotes is at 1. Okay. So everything works perfectly as we'd like. Let's see. We're not displaying the upvotes and downvotes on the get one. But let's check all of them. They're there. So we just need to make sure that the relationship exists on our find one method, our read method, I mean. Upvotes, downvotes. And that should fix that problem. Let's go with this one. Send, and we get the associated votes. Okay, cool. Let's see. Do we want? No, I think that's fine. Yeah, I think that's fine. All right, I'll see you guys next time. I think we're gonna. What are we gonna go over next time? We're gonna create comments, and comments are gonna be a little more complex because a comment in itself is a separate entity that points to both users and ideas. It's not just a upvote or downvote where we could just have it as a junction table. A comment will have its own data. So that should be the next thing that's on our list. Let's just make sure we do a git add everything, git commits added junction